Today is crafting day, which is why my hair looks super hot. But today I wanted to show you how to make custom stamps using this awesome machine. It's called the Mint Machine. It is made by Silhouette and I love it so much. I've been talking about it on my Instagram stories for a good couple years. I love it, but we make custom stamps. So this one is my logo. And then I can just stamp it when I send out mail or packages or on my business cards. So it is a super fun little machine and I'm going to show you start to finish how to do it. Before we start making stamps, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Mint, the specifics. It is a nice small machine, which I love. It's not big and bulky, and it actually has its own software, so it runs independently from the Silhouette Cameo. So you don't need to have a Silhouette Cameo, or if you're Team Cricut, if you have a Cricut cutter, you can still use the Mint, which I love that that's an option. It just connects to your computer and to an outlet, and that's how it runs. So, and you can just grab, I think you can grab that software at silhouetteamerica.com, I think is the website. When you buy the Mint, it comes in a box, and everything in the box, like you're good to go. You're ready to make stamps with everything in the box. It comes with some stamps. It comes with the basics of the inks. So you don't need to buy anything special, but it is really fun and you can burn through those really quickly. I mean, I can't even tell you how many stamps I've made. I've made them for gifts and for teacher gifts, and like my friends give them to their friends. Like my daughter loves, this is hers, she gets it and she stamps it in all of her books, so she wanted to have one to give to all of her friends. So we have made a ton of stamps. Let me show you the ink. So I think in the box you get, I want to say red, yellow, green, and black, maybe? Something to that effect. It's the basics. I believe you get 4 and it's just the basics. They have a lot of really cool options. The colors are a little bit deceiving, like that looks brown. Focus, but that is the red. I won't focus. Okay, so these are 2 different pinks. There's an ash pink and a magenta. That's the ash pink. So these colors don't really portray what they really look like, in my opinion. But there's lots of fun color options. I will be honest, that's teal. I will be honest, I definitely use black the most, just because I think like it's just kind of classic. But like I use pink. This is my logo for my blog, so I stamp it when I'm mailing stuff. My daughter, of course, wanted to use all the colors, and I think that was the only time I've actually used purple. Besides, I was trying to experiment to see how well this would do. When we get to making the stamps, you'll see how we add the ink, but I got a little green heavy, so it fades a little bit, but there's all those colors. They're pretty vivid. This one I kind of try to make it tie-dye. If you can see, little Mod Podge of colors randomly. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is this is the size we're going to make. The stamps come, so there is a stamp kit. That's what this one is. Slap that off. Stamp kit has the base, it has the stamp part, we haven't made it yet, and it comes with some papers. That's the stamp that we're going to be printing on, and then it has some papers to stamp on so you can put it on your lid. They also come in stamp sheet sets, and there is 2 of them in there, so this is what was in this one, and it is just the stamp portion. So when you're purchasing, you need to pay attention that you're buying the stamp kit, which has the base, versus the stamp sheet set, which doesn't have the base. And let me tell you why they do this. Because you don't always need the base. And so I love that that's an option. It's a little bit cheaper, because though this one, I'll cover my address. This one's my address stamp that I just stamp on all my letters, right? I have a Christmas one. So during Christmas, I slide this off. So there's my stamp, it's all in there. I slide that off, I slide on my Christmas stamp, and then I can stamp all my Christmas letters, and then when I'm done, it just stores. It's nice and small and stores in my drawer over here. So it's a good option if there is something seasonal. This one that I'm making right here is for a blog conference, and so it's something that I probably will use a ton, and then I won't use it for a while. So I like that's an option, is that I don't have to have all these bulky stamps. I can just slide it off and just save the base. So I just wanted to tell you that because I didn't want you to buy a whole bunch of the stamp sheet sets and then open it up and say, I am so confused, where is the base? Okay, I think that was it. Let's jump in and I will show you guys how to make your own stamp. Okay, so we're in the Mint Studio. It looks like this little leaf if you look up here in the corner. It's just a little leaf, that's what it is. It looks pretty similar, in my opinion, to the Silhouette Studio software that you use with the cutter. There's just a little bit of differences. It doesn't have nearly as much because, I mean, we're just making stamps. We're not doing 1,000 other things, which the cutter can do. So we're just going to go over very quickly some of the things that it can do. We're in the text right now, but first we need to go right here. This is our sizes. I like to select my size first. That way I get a better idea of what I need to create on here. There's square, there's rectangle, there's 4 different sizes of that one and 3 different sizes of the square, and you can just pick and it automatically just changes it for you, and then you can rotate your view right here. Ours is going to be going this way. There's of course the zoom, same as in the Silhouette. That's the undo. You know how I undo my whole life right there. Another one that we use a lot is this text. So same as the Silhouette Studio, it should have all your fonts that are on the computer in here. And you can just click over here, this A, get your cursor, and write whatever you want. I will be honest, I do not usually use the stuff that's in here. I like to use things that I've created. I'm trying to get a cute one because I wanted to show you an example of something else. Okay, so we've got our high. There is also border over here. We could add different borders. Just drag it and add where you want. And then you can draw. You can erase. You know, it's just basic. Do you guys remember that? Oh, I might be aging myself, but that paint and draw, where you could just draw with, and they had all the different colors. You could cut and spray paint, that kind of thing. Like the old school, that was all computers had. So when you're done with your schoolwork, that you either got to play Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, or you would do this paint app, right? So that's kind of what that reminds me of. It's just very basic, which is fine. Up here, it gets a little bit more. I mean, there's a little bit more options. Oh, look, there's different sizes for erasers too. This one is a crop template, which I think is really cool because we have that option. So what you do is you can drag this over and then it cuts out that shape, which this is a horrible example. But that way you could make this all one color and then this all a different color, but it still could be the same word. So I do think that's a cool feature. Back. And then they have a whole bunch of curved options, a little bit easier than curving it in the Silhouette Studio. It's just already done for you. And I love these for like address stamps or monograms or anything like that. So I think those are kind of a fun option. We talked about this one, our stamp settings, and then we have the filters. So if we want to make them polka dot, cross, stripes, and I believe you can make them fatter. Let's see. Oh, that wasn't it. I thought you could make the pattern fatter, but maybe I'm lying. I could do that sometimes. Yeah, it's not. Oh, I got rid of it altogether. All right, so I don't know what I'm doing on the stamp filters, but that's an option. So standard is just standard. Anyways, this is really cool. Can you imagine trying to weed this out with vinyl? But for stamping, it's perfect. So I'm actually going to upload a picture that I'm going to be using instead, and I'll show you how that works. I just added this image. I just went up here and opened it up, and it's just saved to my computer. It's just an image I drew on my Procreate app, but it comes in huge. You can see this is my stamp size right here. So I just got to size it down a little bit. And then I want to turn my stamp back that way. Now you can see this is way too big. So I'm going to actually stretch it out a little bit. I was going to put a logo down here, but I was playing around with it behind the scenes, and I don't love it. So I think I'm just going to do the light bulb. So basically, whatever is on this stamp pad is going to be, it's almost like embossed on the stamp pad when it runs through the mint. So if I pull it off, do you see how this black's a little bit off? It's basically anything in this rectangular area is what will be stamped. So you want to make sure to stay within that. I wanted to show you, this is another example. So this one had some color in it, and when I send it, it only picks up the dark. So it actually made, these are a dark teal and then like a navy blue, and it did not pick up those colors. So if you want a nice, clear, crisp stamp, I suggest designing it in black and white or converting it over into black and white in another, like a Photoshop or a PicMonkey or something to that effect. Oh, hang on. Okay, so you just kind of get it placed how you want. I do have a lot of empty space. I'll probably fill it up. I might put Starburst. I don't know. But let's say I'm ready to send. I'm going to go over here to my sentiment, and it automatically flips it. So you don't have to, if you think of a stamp, it has to be backwards. It'll automatically flip it for you. You have got to make sure that your stamp set is the correct size. It'll mess everything up. And I am, of course, not connected because I have my microphone plugged in so you guys could hear me. But once I'm connected, once you put the stamp, you can see there is an arrow on the stamp. We'll talk about this here in a minute with my hands. But we'll load it up, and then you'll just click this Start Mint, and you just watch the magic happen. Okay, we have our design all ready. This is what comes in the box. There's a box. There's the big stamp pad with the lid. Nothing on it yet. This is what we will put through our mint. It's this piece, and then there is 2 little sticker sheets that you just use so you can put it on the lid so you know which stamp is which. So we'll set those aside. Set those aside. This, if you see, comes with a little plastic sheet over it. Leave that on. You're gonna need it. Turn it on. It's gonna connect to our computer. Now you can see the arrow is what's gonna go in the back. I'm gonna click Start Mint, and then it tells me, see how it's beeping? That's when I need to insert. And then it just kind of works its magic. It's a little bit like watching paint dry because you want it to be really fast, but it is seriously so cool. Okay, so it stopped beeping. Spit it out. Power that down. So you can see it is, I don't even know how it works. It's super magical. But we've got ourselves a stamp. I ended up leaving this dead space. I was trying to size it. I don't know. This is what we ended up with. But normally I like to fill all my space, but here we go. And then we have our stamp pad. You're going to take off this, and you're going to take off this. This is sticky, and that's what we will stick this to. If you see there is little score lines right there, you're going to bend it back and peel off, and then the paper or the plastic little sheet comes off. And then you very carefully, oh, let me scoot in a little bit. very carefully. Line it up and give it a good press. It's pretty cool. The wrinkles are just what happens. They won't show up in your image at all. I don't know, like it's barely a lip. I'm trying to get really close so you guys can see. It is barely a lip, but for some reason it stamps. It's very cool. Okay, now we're going to add color. I wish I was doing something super colorful, but this is actually going on a yellow placemat, and so I really, like, I wanted to do a yellow, but I'm doing it black. Sorry. Got my black ink. Black. And what you do is you just blob it on. Get a little bit closer. Everything that is this gray needs to be covered. So if I'm doing a different color for the words down here, you could do each letter a different color. You just have to be very, very careful that you don't let it bleed into each other. The tips are pretty, see if I can get it to focus. The tip is pretty small, which is really nice if you want to do detail work. There we go. Maybe I could add a gray. I don't know if I have gray. And then this ink has to sit on for a while, like I think it's a minute or two. I usually just let it sit until it's all soaked in. And sometimes, like right here, I've got a really heavy blob. I can kind of like scooch it over, like spread it around. Now the question I get asked all the time is, how long do these stamps last? I think it's 50 stamps, and then you can just re-ink. So if you're giving it with, like, to a teacher, you might want to throw in a couple bottles of ink. They're pretty cheap if you buy them. I think it's shipping that when you buy from the Silhouette store. So if you buy enough to justify the shipping, it's a good price. And then you can just include little bottles of ink with them and kind of show them how to do it. This will not work with a regular stamp pad. That's the other question I get. So they asked if we could make this stamp and then just use one of their ink pads. I actually had a teacher who didn't realize what it was and did that, and it looked horrible. So it just, like, you can see that the stamp is just not big enough for that ink pad to really work. Got it all covered. You can see this top part starting to dry a little bit, so we'll just wait for a minute for the bottom part to dry. Congratulations on your patience, you've made it. All right, we've got it all pretty much dried, and then you just get a scrap piece of paper, and then this is where you think, holy crap, I've totally messed up. But what you're doing is you're just getting all that excess ink off. And you will see it just starts, each one just gets a little bit better, and a little bit better. Oh, helps if I'm in screen. And then if you notice there's like a spot that maybe isn't, I look like I have a little right there. I might not have got enough ink on there. You can add a little bit more ink. So once you have it to your liking, I do need to add a couple more little ink spots, if you can see right up there, but I won't keep you here for that. You take your little piece, you line it up and you stamp it. There's a lid that goes on it, and then you can place your sticker on the lid, and that just helps you. So if you have a drawer full of stickers, or if a drawer full of stamps, I mean, it's very easy to figure out what's in there. So that's how you make a stamp. It's very cool, and like I said, it's very addicting, and you can do lots of fun colors, and there's different sizes. Very cute teacher gifts, librarian gifts. I mean, once you have it, you kind of figure out all different kinds of ways that you can use it. Go grab yourself a mint. It is seriously so much fun. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Leave them down below in the comments, and if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks everybody. Have a fantastic day.